Okay, so get this. HCL Technologies just announced their financial results for the quarter and 9 months ending December 31st, 2024. And it's like a lot to unpack.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw the press release. It's pretty detailed. So let's dive in.
Right. They're celebrating 25 years of being publicly listed with a special dividend of like 6 rupees per share on top of the regular interim dividend.
Exactly. It's pretty cool. So that means shareholders are getting a total of 18 rupees per share for this interim dividend. It's their 88th consecutive quarter of paying out a dividend, which, is quite something.
Okay, so that's a nice touch. But like, what's the real deal with their earnings? The numbers, are they good?
Well, for starters, their revenue hit 29,890 crores, which is a 3.6% increase quarter over quarter and a 5.1% increase year over year in Indian rupees.
Okay, that's like not bad. But what about in the US dollars?
Right. So in USD, the revenue was $3,533 million, up by 2.5% quarter over quarter and 3.5% year over year, which is still solid growth.
So both currencies are showing growth. But I see they break down their revenue into different segments, right?
Yeah, so IT and business services saw a 2.2% growth, while engineering and R&D was actually up 5.4% quarter over quarter in constant currency.
Okay, and what about HCL software? I noticed it wasn't growing as much as the other segments, right?
You're right. So HCL software actually saw a decline of 2.1% year over year in constant currency, but they're still pulling in an annual recurring revenue or ARR of $1.02 billion.
So the software side is a bit of a mixed bag, but what about profits? I mean, that's what everyone cares about, right?
Yeah, their EBIT or earnings before interest and taxes was 5,821 crores or a 19.5% of the revenue. And that's a jump of 8.6% quarter over quarter and a 3.7% year over year.
That's actually a pretty significant bump. And net income?
Their net income is up to at 4,591 crores, 15.4% of revenue, which is a big 8.4% increase quarter over quarter and 5.5% year over year.
Okay, so profits are definitely on the rise. And like I notice a mention of ROAC or return on investor capital. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, their ROIC on a last 12 months basis is 36.6% for the whole company. And it's an impressive 44.7% for just their services sector, which is, that's great performance.
Okay, those numbers sound really impressive, but like what does that actually mean for the average person trying to understand their business?
Well, ROIC is like a measure of how well they're using their money to generate profit. So a higher percentage just means they're being really efficient at making money from what they've invested.
Okay, so they're using their money efficiently. Good. And I also saw something about their bookings, new deal wins.
Oh, yeah, they secured new deal wins worth $2,095 million in this quarter. So a lot of future business locked in, which is, I guess, always a good sign.
All right. So lots of new deals, good profits. What about their workforce? Are they hiring more people?
Their total workforce now stands at 220,755 with a net addition of 2,134 people this quarter. And they've also added over 2,000 freshers to their workforce, which is like their new blood.
So growth in both revenue and personnel. But I also noticed their attrition rate increased a bit.
Yes, the last 12 months attrition rate is 13.2%, which is a slight increase from 12.8% in the same quarter last year. It is a bit higher, but that is, a common trend in the market right now.
Okay, so a bit of an increase in attrition. And like, is there anything about their environmental and social responsibility?
Right. They were awarded gold status by EcoVadis, which means they're doing pretty well with their sustainability efforts, which, is important these days.
Okay, so they're doing good on the sustainability front too. What about their guidance for the coming year?
So they expect their company revenue to grow between 4.5% to 5.0% year over year in constant currency. And their services revenue is also projected in the same range.
And what about their profitability forecast? Do they expect their profit margins to increase?
They're expecting an EBIT margin between 18.0% and 19.0%. So they are expecting a good run in their profits and keeping their margins within the same range.
Okay, so they're aiming for consistent growth and profitability, So overall, what's your take on these results?
Overall, it seems really solid. They have good revenue growth, strong profitability, and new deals coming in. They are like well positioned in the market.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Plus, they are celebrating a big milestone with that special dividend.
Exactly. It's a good way to thank the shareholders, and that always is a great sign for long term stability.
So, strong earnings, good future outlook, and a special dividend. That's like a lot of positive news. But, like, what does this mean for HCL's future?
Well, they're definitely positioning themselves as a tech leader, focusing on areas like AI, digital services, and R&D. So it seems like they're looking ahead.
Okay, so they're focusing on the future tech. But what about challenges they might be facing?
Well, while their software segment is facing a bit of a challenge, the rest are doing well and they are in a good position. So it will be interesting to watch how they adapt.
Right. And like, what about the attrition? I wonder if that's something they might need to address.
Yeah, that's always a key factor for growth. But their new hiring numbers are impressive. So it shows they are still capable of attracting talent in the market.
Good. So they are focusing on both retaining and hiring talent and overall strong numbers. So, what should investors and the broader market be watching for in the next quarter?
Definitely keep an eye on the growth of their software segment, the evolution of their service segment growth, and their new deal bookings to see if this momentum continues, and of course, their attrition rate to see any new improvements.
Okay, I guess so. A lot to watch out for, but overall, these results do sound pretty good, right?
Yes, definitely. These results paint a picture of a company that's, not just growing, but also focused on improving efficiency and their long term strategy.
That's a good summary. I guess we'll see how they perform in the next quarter, but it seems to be quite a strong period for HCL so far.
Exactly. And maybe they can top these numbers again in the next quarter. Who knows? It will be interesting to see.